might want to keep on clicking reset until you have an easy puzzle to solve. So for example, this is a pretty easy one. The idea is this: if I were to click this button, then this one, and this one should swap colors. Let's see. So sure enough, they swap. And if I click this one, then this one, and this one should swap. So sure enough, that happens. And then finally, if I click this middle one, there's 5 buttons that are going to be swapping the back color. This one, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So if I click this, very good. So I just won the puzzle. Now notice what happens. I'm clicking on these buttons, and notice that nothing's happening. And that's because I've disabled the buttons, and I did that on purpose. I don't want the user to keep on clicking. You've won the game. Now, the only way to basically start a new game is to click reset. And by the way, notice that the moves counter has been counting every single one of the different clicks when I was playing this game. So I click reset, it randomizes the puzzle, and also it sets the moves counter back to 0. Alright, so now let me try solving this one. Alright, so notice that I click, moves counter goes to 1. I click, moves counter goes to 2, so forth and so on. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do is to solve this really fast. And here I've just solved it. Now notice I can't click on any of these. I have a number of 7. It took me 7 turns to solve the puzzle, so I click reset and try it again. Alright, so this one's going to be a little tougher, but I think I can do this here. So let me just go ahead and flip these around. There we go. So in this case, I've solved the puzzle again. So in this case, notice that I think I've solved all red. Let's see if I can solve a white puzzle. So let me see if I can make this white. Here we go. Alright, so now they're all white. Again, notice that I'm clicking all these buttons. Nothing's happening because I've disabled the buttons. I need to re-enable them. And that's it. Alright, so that's how you play the game, and that's how you code it. Let me just take a quick look at what happens if I click one of these buttons. So let me double click this, and I'll stop the code right here so we can investigate what happens step by step. And that way, I'm showing you how you'll be able to investigate the code to make sure that you understand it thoroughly. Okay, so let me go ahead and restart the program. And again, I'm going to click this button because that's where I placed a break. So I'll click this, and now we're going to go back to the code area. There it is. Just click over here. Alright, so we're stopping the program right here. At this point, I'm going to click this button over here where it says step into, so I can step into the actual procedure call. We're going to call the procedure called swap, and we're going to send it button 1. And so when I click this guy, notice that now we're in swap. It's called by reference, so what's happening here is that BTN1 is the same thing as button 1. Alright, we're going to take that button, and what are we going to do? Well, first of all, let me step through this, and we're going to determine what its back color is. And if it's equal to red, then we change it to white. Well, let's see, what is that back color? So in this case, is it equal to red? It sure is. So now we'll change that to white. So I'm going to step through this, end if statement, and sub. Let me step over again. So now we go back to the calling function, and notice what happens now. If I were to step the next statement, that's going to again call the swap procedure, but this time we're sending it button 2. Alright, well, I know that the swap procedure works. If you wanted to go through it, you could click the step into button, but in this case I'm going to click step over. And I'm also going to click step over again because I don't want to go into the swap procedure one more time. I know that it works. Moves counter is currently equal to 0, as you can see over here, and also if I hover my mouse pointer on top of this, it's equal to 0. But after I step over this, it should be equal to 1, and so sure enough, it's equal to 1 because I just incremented it by 1. Now let's take that, move it to the label. So I'll move it to the label, and then also let's check to see if we won the game. Well, let me go ahead and investigate this. So I'm going to click step into, and now we are inside the check for win procedure. And what I'm doing is I'm going to basically check to see if all of these conditions are true. If BTN1 and BTN2 have the same background color, if BTN1 and BTN3 have the same background color, and so forth and so on. Everything is being compared to the button 1. If that's true, which in this case it isn't, so watch what happens when I click step over. It doesn't do the disable buttons procedure because we just started the game and all I did was click one button, so that's not going to work. So again, click step over again. We've just checked for win, click step over, and then finally returns us back over here. Okay, so that's how you can investigate how this works. I would also recommend that you do this as well. You might want to go ahead and double click on the reset button, stop the code here, and then trace to see what happens when the BTN reset button is clicked, just to make sure that you understand the overall idea of how this program works. Alright, let me remove all of these breakpoints. So delete all breakpoints. Yeah, delete all of them. Okay, so we're right back at the code. And that's how you create this game. So, this is Professor Robert Solis. I hope this has been helpful. Have a good day. See you next time.